Welcome to another episode of the Holistic Lab. Today we're going to be answering the following question. What is really holistic health? It's not just yoga poses and green juices, though these can be part of it. Picture this: your body, your mind, feelings, spirit, the people around you, even the air you breathe, all connected, like threads in a single breathing tapestry. And so, holistic health is the science of the whole, of the body, mind, emotions, spirit, relationships, and environment, all woven together as one living system. The World Health Organization put it beautifully over 70 years ago. It defined health as, and I quote, a state of complete physical, mental, and social well being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Think about that for a second. It's not surviving without a label, it's thriving in fullness, in body and soul intertwined. It is a radical definition because it tells us that health is not just the absence of a medical diagnosis. It's the presence of wholeness in every single one of us. Fast forward to today, in modern science, it is called systems biology. This is now called P4 medicine, aka predictive, preventive, personalized, and participatory. We're talking your DNA, sure, but also your proteins, your social circle, the stresses whisper into your cells, from the whole world outside, from whatever you tell yourself, your relationships, in your dynamics. And when we talk about the environment, it's because our surroundings send signals to our brain, and thus whole body and cells. Because our bodies are networks, they're not a set of isolated parts. Why does this hit home and why is it important? Especially in tough fights like cancer or chronic illnesses. Well, simply because in cancer, autoimmunity, and chronic diseases, we often treat the tumor or the organ, but the soil in which it grew is often ignored. We pay attention to the symptoms, but we often ignore the multiple factors that gave rise to a certain illness. Surely we can measure liquid biopsy biomarkers in blood, but we often forget to ask, what is the patient's stress load? What's fueling your anxiety? What about this person's social support, their sense of purpose, like their inner world? What about their sleep quality or their relationship with food and movement? We also forget to ask about how do trauma, loneliness, and as well as despair show up in their interleukins and their inflammation markers, CRP, cortisol, which is the stress hormone, and epigenome. The lack of these questions is exactly why we need to broaden our view. For example, depression isn't just a mental illness, it's a state of chronic inflammation as well, immune dysregulation, and neurobiological changes, often rooted in trauma and social environment. Now, of course, every patient is different, and one needs a specialized health worker to diagnose any illness, including mental illnesses. And what I'm sharing are biological information or biological factors that we can find in patients who are depressed. This is not exclusive and not by any means given any medical advice, but this is just to reflect together and a call to be more inclusive in modern medicine. And because the research have found that trauma can be indeed carried in the body, not just in the memory, through epigenetic marks that can even be passed to the next generations. It's what we call epigenomics, and we can talk about those epigenetic markers later on. And because healing is not just about drugs, but about changing the whole system, centuries ago, a brilliant physician and philosopher, Ibn Sina or Avicenna, laid out a blueprint for holistic health in his most famous book, the Canon of Medicine, which was the official medical book in many European universities for over 600 years. He stated that health is not maintained by treating disease, but by balancing 6 essential factors. First, the air and environment around us. Second, bodily movement and rest. Third, sleep and wakefulness. Fourth, emotions and mental states, including fear, anger, joy, and grief. Fifth factor, food and drink. And the sixth, the expulsion and retention of waste, digestion, elimination, and menstruation. This might sound familiar because these are not just ancient ideas. They are the pillars of modern lifestyle medicine. Essentially, your world tweaks your gene's volume. For example, a walk could recalibrate your defenses. Deep sleep dials down those fiery cytokines. And feelings spark brain pathways that chat straight to your immune cells. I want to say something that might sound poetic, but I really love it. You're no cold engine. You're alive, listening to every whisper of the universe around you. And in you, the universe in you. Thoughts, loved ones, purpose, nature's spirals and branches, from your DNA coils to the lank branches that are similar to trees, to your brain's fractals. They are all one sacred dance. And to the ones who want a more scientific speech, we could say this. Your environment shapes your epigenetics. The movement regulates your immune system. The sleep quality determines your cytokine profiles. And your emotions light up specific brain circuits that talk directly to your immune cells and inflammatory pathways. Just like everything that's connected in the universe, you are part of it and connected to it. So, what can you do right now as a human in this complex system? I suggest that each one of us start small, but start real. You might pick an Avicenna pillar this week. Maybe breathe fresh air under sunlight. Move like you care for yourself, not as a punishment, not like you're at a war with any fats that you don't like in your body. What about garden sleep as your secret medicine? Or sitting with your feelings, not rushing to fix them, but to understand yourself, to accept them, to hear what they have to say, to listen truly, to notice your emotions without judgment, and to choose foods that honor your body. Or maybe let your body flow naturally. Support its natural rhythms and try to listen, to reconnect with what your body is telling you. Mind you, this is not magic. This is the science of systems biology, of epigenetics, inflammation, and of the mind-body connection. And it's the beginning of real, deep, holistic healing. I'll be here every week, hopefully, unpacking the science behind these hidden connections, like trauma, epigenetics, mental health, knowing oneself, connecting to your body, immunity, social genomics, the patterns that shape our health and our universe, etc. And like I said, because healing is not about separating or fragmenting the person, it's about seeing the whole system, honoring the wholeness of each human being. So I want to tell you that you're not just a disease. You're not just a diagnosis. You're not a burden. You are a living, evolving, and interconnected, beautiful system. And that changes everything. You are a vibrant, unfolding miracle of connections. And since your body listens, what did you choose to tell it today?